What are the common threads that you see in the best entrepreneurs?
So founders come in all forms, as you can imagine, and even within what you can call the successful group, it's very heterogeneous. So that you have everything in there, but there are some patterns that you can see that all of them have, and I think I could summarize them in three things. One is commitment. So they are really committed to what they are building. It's not just that they prefer to do that versus working in McKinsey or JP Morgan or whatever. They really need to do that because they cannot be themselves if they don't build what they think that they have to be building. So that is very important. And that commitment is the kind of irrational mentality that you need to be a successful entrepreneur, because you've experienced that, Brian. No matter how successful your final story is, when you're going through that journey, there are some hiccups, and you can only work against those, and you fall with your face against the floor, and then you stand up again, because no matter what happens, you need to be doing that. You need to survive and keep on building that dream. So I think when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and you get that from that kind of irrational commitment that entrepreneurs have. So one thing that we try to identify is whether the entrepreneurs are really committed to what they are doing or not. The other one is leadership. Leadership sounds like everyone says that, but it's very important. And leadership comes in different forms and styles, but the entrepreneur needs to be a leader to be able to tell his story, her story in a compelling way, so others want to join that story, that adventure. So others become almost as committed as that founder, because you need your team also to be very committed. You can bring on board investors, you can bring on board suppliers, you can bring on board clients. So leadership is also very relevant. And then the third item, because we're investing in technology, we need the entrepreneurs, the founders, to be tech-focused. Obviously, in technology, scalability is the name of the game. You need to be able to get to a certain scale so you have an advantage versus others that are starting from zero. That scale mainly comes out of volume, and you need to be able to build that volume, to build that moat out of technology. Some people want to build that moat out of marketing and investing a lot on advertising. Some people want to build that out of being great at fundraising, and therefore, because they have more funds, they'll be able to do more things than their competitors. That is fine, and obviously, if you can do that, you may have a chance, but we believe that what ends up being sustainable is to have an advantage in your tech stack, right? And that comes from a founder that doesn't need to be an engineer, but needs to be someone that is very product focused and is really trying to build the advantage based on their technology, their usability, something that relates to that final scalability edge that they want to build.
So just to recap, commitment, leadership, and tech focused, right?
Correct.
So commitment, it makes me think of when I was 19, I read a book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And there's a passage in there that talks about burning the ships, right? And, it's like you arrive somewhere, it's like, okay, burn the ships, we're not going back. And based on what you described, it's either you have blood in your eyes that you're after it or you don't. Is there any middle ground for that?
I think that your example of burning the ships is a perfect one. You need to do that. Then the question is when you do it, right? And maybe if you have an idea and you're somehow evolving it and articulating it, or you're exploring something, while you're doing that, it's totally fine to, obviously, people need to pay their bills right at the end of the month. So that's totally fine. But once you decide, this is what I want to do, I'm convinced, and do not look for perfect information, because there's never perfect information. But once you've gained enough confidence, you need to burn the ships and do it 100% committed. And whatever, I think it's part-time. I think it's really bad for anything else you want to accomplish. Because if you want an investor to commit their capital to it and you're not fully committed to it, it's tough. You want, to bring on board people and you're trying to convince those people to quit their jobs and join your startup, but you're not doing that. It's like, hey, what's up? There's an asymmetry here. Like it doesn't work. So it certainly needs to be, and it's an important factor. And when we see part-time founders, we do not invest, period.